Good evening, YouTube. I'm back with another video, and I just wanted to sit here and have a little chit-chat story time with you all and let you in on a little bit about myself, or actually a specific condition that I have. If you saw my last video, I just finished posting a workout video. Today was my day 7 of 2018, and if you did not see the previous videos, I missed 3 days of working out, but I'm back on track. And in that video, I mentioned something that I would talk about later on, and it has to do with me sleeping. I said in the last video that I came home from work and I went to sleep somewhere between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, and then I didn't wake up until about 10:15 or so. But anyways, so the condition that I have is called narcolepsy, and if you don't know what narcolepsy is, it is a sleeping disorder in which it is very easy to fall asleep at any time of the day. It is overwhelming, excessive daytime sleepiness, and there's so many facets of narcolepsy, and different people have it at different levels, so to speak. So you might have seen in a cartoon or an old TV show, or maybe even have a family member have heard of stories of people that'll be talking and wake up and pick up where they left off. That's not me. My narcolepsy is not that extreme. But anyways, I'm going to tell you first how I found out about it. Then I'm going to tell you how I cope, and then how it affects me, or maybe how it affects me and then how I cope. So in 2008, maybe it was 2007. I think it was 2007. Some friends and I used to, so for those of you that don't know, I used to be in the Air Force, and I was stationed in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And it was a long weekend, Memorial Day weekend, if I'm remembering correctly. So some friends and I decided to take a trip down to New Mexico, to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And it was about a 5-hour drive from where we lived. And we all went after work, and for some reason we didn't leave until like crazy late, like 7 or 8 in the evening. So we had all worked all day, and then I was the one driving. At this time, I had no idea that I had a problem. So we were driving, we got there, and then on the way back, for roughly a 10-mile stretch of the highway, there was a construction site. One lane, those big orange and white round barrel cone thingies. And so I'm not a construction worker, so I don't know how these things work, but I strongly doubt that the magnitude of this construction site was set up over the course of those short couple days. So I'm like, well, when I was driving here, I know it was nighttime, but I don't remember this construction site, and we went the exact same route. And so I'm like, the only thing I could think of was that I slept through it. And I was like, how is that even possible? How do you drive through 10 miles on it was an interstate, but it had been narrowed down to one lane, and sleep through it and not remember? So that was my first indication that something was wrong. Fast forward maybe like a month or two later, I worked at one base, and it did not have all of the facilities that a normal military base would have. So I had to drive to another base, which was about 10 miles away, for some kind of medical appointment or something. I don't even know what it was. Some kind of appointment that I had to go to the other base for. And so as I was leaving my base to get to the main stretch of highway, it is about a 2 or 3 mile drive from the base to the main highway. So I was on this 2 or 3 mile stretch, and I was driving, and I woke up, and I was literally about 50 feet from being in a head-on collision with another car. The car never honked or anything. I'm like, you don't see me veering into your lane coming towards you? Like, you would think to honk or something, but by the grace of God, that's the only thing I could think of. God woke me up just in time to swerve. And I went to my appointment. I came back to work. I told my supervisor, I was like, hey, something's wrong. You know, I almost was in a head-on collision. He was like, stop what you're doing right now, pick up the phone, make an appointment to go get checked out. Before all of this happened, once my supervisor told me that I needed to make the appointment. I knew this was serious, and so I started to reflect back. Prior to these two incidents happening, I found myself sleeping during lunchtime, and I had an hour-long break, so I would skip actually eating and go sit in my car and sleep. Throughout the day, I would go to the bathroom and pretend like I was going to the bathroom, and I would line the toilet seat nicely with toilet paper, and I would sit there and I would sleep for about 5 to 10 minutes, long enough so that people wouldn't question, what is she doing, you know, if you're in the bathroom for 10 minutes. So nobody asked questions. But anyways, I was going in there and taking naps multiple times throughout the day. I would find myself working at my computer, nodding off, hoping that nobody saw me. And I didn't want people to think that I wasn't getting adequate sleep or being responsible. I slept a normal 8 hours, this was after my partying days were over. But anyways, I slept the normal amount that a person should sleep, 6 to 8 hours. And then I was still tired. So, those are the things that made me think that something was wrong. Fast forwarding to when my supervisor told me to make the appointment. Made the appointment with, I don't remember if it was neurology or the sleep clinic. It must have been, I don't remember who the initial appointment was made with, but whatever happened, they ended up sending me to a neurologist, and the neurologist performed a sleep study on me. And it consisted of me coming to the hospital 2 times. So the first time I came, I believe it was at night, and I only stayed there for about 4 or 5 hours, and they hooked all these different wires up to my head and my face and my chest, and made me sleep. And so they would let me sleep for an hour, wake me up. It felt like they only let me sleep for 2 minutes, and it was very frustrating because I'm like, I want to sleep and you're waking me up. So they did this for a few hours, and then they sent me home. They got the results back. They said, okay, we need you to come in for a full test. So I ended up having to spend the night in the hospital, with the wires up and everything. Results came back in, and they said, you have narcolepsy. And there's this thing, and one of the key factors, I guess, that determined that I had narcolepsy is, if you've ever heard of REM sleep, it's rapid eye movement. And that is the stage of sleep where you have your dreams. And if you ever watch somebody in their sleep, I know that's kind of creepy, but if you ever watch somebody in their sleep and they've entered REM, their eyes, you can see it, they're going back and forth. And so people usually don't enter REM sleep until they've been asleep probably between 4 and 5 hours. I entered my REM sleep within the first 5 minutes of me falling asleep. That's not normal. So that is one of the determining factors as to how they discovered I had narcolepsy. So that's my narcolepsy story and how I found out about it. They prescribed me medication to help me. It's kind of like controlled speed. That might not be the best way to explain it, but it's a narcotic, and I don't know how to explain it without making it sound like it's an illegal drug. It's not an illegal drug. There's nothing illegal in it. It's just a controlled substance, and it perks you up, so to speak. Kind of like Adderall calms you down, then my medication perks you up. I think, don't quote me on that. Do some research on it. But anyways, I take medication, and the best way I explain it, people are like, well, does it keep you awake? No, my medication does not keep me awake. It just makes it easier for me not to fall asleep. So I can fall asleep just as easy on my medication as I would without my medication. It's just that when I take it, it's easier to fight the sleep. So when I feel the sleepy feeling, I don't feel like I immediately have to lay down and go to sleep. I can fight it a little longer. And so whenever I take long drives, I take my medication. Always take my medication when I take long drives. Well, there have been a couple times when I didn't take it, but what I end up doing is having to pull over at a gas station or a rest stop and taking like a 15-20 minute nap, and then I can press forward. So it can be scary driving, but I'm as safe as I possibly can. I can feel when I'm getting sleepy. I know my limit. I try not to get to that limit. I go ahead and take a nap, because not only is it my safety that I'm concerned about, there's hundreds of other people on the road with me, and I don't want to be responsible for anyone's life. So my narcolepsy is not so bad that it can't be controlled. So, like I said, medication, and then making sure that I get adequate sleep. When I don't take my medication, let's talk about that. You ever heard of a vegetable? Not the food. I always think about that song Michael Jackson has, and he's like, "You're a vegetable, and you're a vegetable. I'ma save him some of my good stuff." I don't know what he's really saying in the song, but that's what it sounds like he's saying. But anyways, so I remember at my last job, there were times where I didn't take my medication, and I would be sitting on my computer doing work, and then I call them episodes. An episode, let me tell you what that is really quick. It's just like someone takes a veil and lays it over my head and my whole body, and it's like, sleep. And I can't fight it. Once that veil is placed over me, it's like they sprinkled sleepy dust on me or something, and I just feel so tired. Like, have you ever gone 24 hours without sleeping, and the whole 24 hours you were on the go, and then finally your body got to a point where it could rest and it just had to sleep? Well, that's how I felt. Even though I had had maybe even 10 hours of sleep the night before. Yes, I can sleep. I can probably sleep almost 24 hours and still feel like I never slept in my life. And it's not getting too much sleep. It's just the effect of the narcolepsy. So overwhelming, these episodes, it just, this overwhelming feeling over my body that I have to sleep. And so when I'm sitting at my desk, I'll have episodes, and of course you don't want to sleep at work, so I'm sitting there fighting it. Well, my fighting it sometimes is sitting there still doing nothing. So I would just sit there and stare at my computer because my brain wasn't functioning. I could not figure out what to do for my job. Like, I mean, I knew what to do for my job, but because the episode hit, all I could do was think about staying awake. And staying awake was more important than getting my work done, because of course I didn't want anybody to think that I was asleep at work. So I would just sit there and stare and stare. So that's why I call myself a vegetable when I don't take my medication. When I take my medication, it's a drastic difference. I'm a little more upbeat, more energetic. I can get through the day. Usually I get my best workouts in when I'm on my medication. I get the best night's sleep when I'm on my medication. Excuse me, my back is really hurting. But yeah, so gotta take my medicine. When I don't, I need to take frequent naps. So right now, currently, and I know this is not the best thing to say, I actually need to get a prescription refilled, but with my current job, I am on my feet all day. I'm an instructor. I teach a financial management course for the Air Force, and so I'm on my feet physically doing something all day, so it's kind of hard to fall asleep when my body is physically doing something. So I haven't been taking my medication, one, because I need a prescription refill, and then two, because, like I said, I can't fall asleep when I'm physically doing something. So I like that in a sense, because I'm not putting toxins in my body. I don't like taking pills. I don't like taking medication. Only one I like to take is NyQuil and ZQuil. And I only take NyQuil when I'm sick. And then I recently was introduced to ZQuil, because there are times, believe it or not, with narcolepsy, you can have spurts of insomnia where you can't sleep. So the ZQuil helps. But yeah, I don't like taking medication otherwise. So it's kind of nice that I have this job that's physically demanding to the point where I can't sleep, but I still have to take my naps throughout the day. So I will say 95% of the time, if I don't go out to eat with a friend at lunchtime, I will eat my lunch and then I'll take a nap. I have an hour-long lunch. So during that hour, I eat and I take a nap. And then we have breaks in between our classes, and my first break is 15 to 20 minutes long. So sometimes I'm even asleep on that. I just simply set an alarm on my phone, and that's that. I do make sure that I tell my supervisors whenever I get new jobs about my condition, just so that they know that I'm not just slacking off. I actually have a legit medical problem, and this is part of the reason why I'm no longer in the military. Could you imagine if I deployed and I'm on the front lines and I fall asleep and there's bombs exploding, or I'm supposed to be saving my wingman? Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I'm no longer in the Air Force. I was no longer deployable, so sad, but you know, hey, those are the cards I was dealt. But anyway, so I said all of that just to let you all know. I know there are other people that may be struggling with narcolepsy. I have a support group. I keep sucking my teeth. I'm sorry, you guys. I have a support group that I'm in on Facebook, and so it's nice to know that I'm not the only one with the issue, and this video hopefully can help somebody out there. Just to know that you're not alone. I'm not really giving advice or anything, but at least you know that you're not alone. Some other people suffer with it, and now you guys kind of know what I go through. So I said all of that to address the issue that I talked about in my last video earlier today, about how I came home from work and I slept for like 5 hours, and then now I am up, did my workout, gonna shower, and turn around and go right back to sleep and get up and go to work. And pretty much on the weekends, that's what my weekends look out. If I don't make plans to do something with somebody, or plans period, I'm asleep all weekend. Some days I wake up long enough to eat, use the bathroom, and let my dog use the bathroom and feed him, and then I'm asleep. And I turn the ringer off my phone, and I sleep. But it's a blessing and a curse. You know, some people wish that they could get the amount of sleep that I get, but the curse in it is I miss out on so much in life. People will they'll invite me to come out and do things, and I'm all game to do it, but when it comes down to it, all I want to do is sleep, so I end up canceling. I can't function if I don't sleep, and it really sucks. I miss out on so much, but at the same time, my body just feels so good when it sleeps. People used to ask me, what's your favorite pastime? Sleeping. That was before I knew that I had a medical condition. But anyways, I think that's all I'm going to talk about tonight. This video was long enough. Hope you enjoyed this little tidbit about myself, this little story time chit chat. Let me know in the comments below if you are suffering from narcolepsy, or you know somebody that might be suffering from it. If you know any good websites or support groups, list them in the comments below. I'm interested to see, you know, check them out for myself. And I don't know. We'll get through it together. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient with me and sticking through this long chit chat, putting up with my in my little verbal pauses, or whatever they're called. I say a lot. I'm working on that. See you all in the next video. Have a good evening. It is officially the 17th of January. I talked you all into a new day, and I'm going to bed. Have a good evening. See you all in the next video. Good night.